97% of our claims are represented by lawyers.
My goodness.
It's only 3% of the people that come directly to us. Now, I don't blame them. Our systems are still cumbersome because the legislation itself does not really allow for people to come directly to us.
All of these extra costs that the lawyers are obviously driving up, they come off my payment.
No, they come off me as the road accident fund. If you are a person who is in a foreign country, it goes to the point of us having to send some of our officials to go and deal with you once you're back in the United States. And we say, hang on, it's too expensive. Why should we do that when no country in the world does that? So let's stop doing it because we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We are not a rich country. Even if we were to be rich, we are allowing people to abuse the system.
Pat Cash on Life and Money.
So in the first hour of the show, as promised, we're going to be speaking to Road Accident Fund. They're currently sitting with a backlog of about 321,000 claims. Can you imagine if yours is one of them? You're wondering, hey, when are they going to get to me? These have not been finalized as yet, and that's why they've launched something called the Drive Your Claim Forward campaign, which is aimed at reducing the backlog for claims submitted before April 2021. Very important. We thought we should have a chat with them. Mcintosh Polela is a spokesperson for Road Accident Fund. Good evening and welcome to Life and Money on UFM.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for inviting me.
I'm at a level where I could almost thank you for the cover. You appreciate all these intricacies when you realize that even though I might not have personal accident cover myself, this fuel price that I've been complaining about has me covered. But let's get into it. 321,000 claims that have not been finalized as yet. I mean, what's causing the backlog?
So it's a number of things that's causing the backlog. We have, as you say, 321,000 claims, and of those, there are about over 200,000 that were submitted before the year 2021, and we've classified those as part of the backlog. Now, the reason that we have submitted them is the biggest one. It's 97% of our claims are represented by legal practitioners, what you call lawyers. Now, once you have given the power of attorney to a lawyer to be responsible to your claim, we as the Road Accident Fund, give or take, want to finalize your claim or give you an offer within 120 days, which is around 4 months. However, you must understand that it's not in the interest of your lawyer to finalize the claim as quickly as possible, because if he finalizes quickly, he doesn't get paid that much, because the longer the claim stays with him, he gets paid legal and administrative fees. So the majority of the lawyers sit with the claims for about 3 to 4, 5 years. And then you say to yourself, it's the Road Accident Fund that is not finalizing my claim. No, it's not us. It's because your lawyers are not giving us the full complement of documents that we need to finalize your claim. And as long as we don't have, say, a comprehensive health report, we can't finalize your claim because we don't know the extent of your injuries and the extent to which you will be put out of work. If they don't submit the accident report, we don't know whether or not indeed you were involved in an accident. So in a nutshell, unfortunately, sitting here, it is very sad to say the legal practitioners are responsible for delaying most of the claims.
There was a drive quite a few months, if not a year or so, by the Road Accident Fund to encourage us regular folk or citizens just in general, or to make us aware that you can actually submit the claim yourself. I don't know if you're able to tell us percentage-wise if that is improving with individuals, choosing to approach you directly, or are we still, comfortable with a lawyer, seeking us out, and or are we still comfortable with going the legal route instead of dealing with you directly?
It's only 3%. As I said, 97% of our claims are represented by lawyers.
My goodness.
It's only 3% of the people that come directly to us. Now, I don't blame them. Our systems are still cumbersome because the legislation itself does not really allow for people to come directly to us. It's not like you can go to SASA for NFSS to go and claim for yourself. It's quite still complicated because the legislation as it was created, you know that the legislation is created by lawyers. They unfortunately created it for lawyers to be able to benefit from the Road Accident Fund, so that it is very difficult for you as an individual to be able to navigate the process. But people do. I mean, some people do quite successfully. And if we were dealing with you as an individual, it would be in your interest, and to be able to finalize the claim as quickly as possible, because when you approach us, you are involved, we assume sometimes, in a life-changing car accident.
Sure.
And you need that money to be reintegrated to society. And we are very keen to process these claims and to pay people. It is not a good thing for us to be sitting with 321,000 claims. When you have an accident and you're covered by insurance, there is no way, absolutely no way, that your insurance will pay out your claim without receiving the documents that you're supposed to give them. But if I'm involved in an accident, I'm very keen to go to the insurance company and say, I've had an accident, please can you pay so that I can fix my car?
Yeah.
And in this case, people are very keen for us to finalize their claims. The only problem is they're not in charge of their process.
Yeah.
They have given somebody else the power of attorney to be in charge of that process. So yeah, 3%, only 3%.
And we must be clear that it's not like you prefer either or. As long as you receive the claim and the documents are all in order, there's no preference on the part of the Road Accident Fund.
Not at all. We would love to get the full complement, to the extent that in 2022 we introduced what we call the RAF1 claim, which gives you a list of documents that we want from you. It was basically a process to force the lawyers to give us a full complement in one go. And you know what they did? They went to court.
For?
To say that we are basically traversing and we are our powers.
This is fascinating.
And there's it gets worse than that. The judges agreed with them. They won, and we're appealing that case. It is very bizarre that the lawyers would want to go against the system that is there to assist them, because that is basically what the system was for, to say, okay, here are the documents that you're supposed to submit. We want to, finalize the claim within 120 days. Give us the full complement of the documents, and Bob's your uncle. They said no. You know why? Because they stretch, like I said, the claims for as long as possible. 82% of our claims end up at the corridors or at the steps of the court, not before a judge, where when they arrive, when they can't stretch it no more, they then say to a Road Accident Fund attorney, oh, by the way, we would like to settle. Why didn't you settle within 120 days?
So all of these extra costs that the lawyers are obviously driving up, they come off my payment?
No, they come off me as the Road Accident Fund. The lawyers have a set fee of 25% for each claimant, and even that we say is ridiculous. We have in 2023 introduced the RAF Bill of 2023. I remember it was October 2023 that it closed for public comment, so it is now with Parliament, where we argue a number of things, a plethora of things. Among that, it's saying we want to do away with lawyers altogether. Because there was a time when lawyers almost collapsed the Road Accident Fund because they were getting paid around 13 billion rand a year in these legal and administrative fees. We have now brought that down to around 3-point-something billion and counting. But we're saying we don't want to deal with them no more.
It's interesting when one studies the media coverage of the Road Accident Fund. you guys are villains in a very interesting way, in that the one side you made villains because part of the levy that's in the fuel price. The other side of it is, if you start paying a lot of people, then there's obviously a question around whether you're competent in what you're doing. You should be doing it a lot faster and so forth. But let's take it back to me as a claimant. Whether I've employed legal advice or legal representation or not, is there a mechanism for me, independent of my legal person, that I can check how far my claim is?
Now there is. There never used to be.
Okay.
We introduced a contact center in October of last year, and we empowered people through the number 087 820 1111. For the first time, you can now phone and say, where the hell is my money? Where is my claim at? Before that, the lawyers loved it. And by the way, the lawyers resisted for us to give the claimants, that empowerment, because they were saying client-lawyer privilege. We were now violating that, and we said, no, there are two people. There is the lawyer, and then there is the claimant. They need to know. We have caught a lot of lawyers on a lie through this call center, because some of them, many of them, not some, have told people that they have been paid 800,000 rand, only to find that they were paid 1.7 million rand. And in some instances, we had a widow in Port Elizabeth that claimed for loss of earnings because her husband died in a car accident. She claimed 500,000, which we paid, and the lawyer paid 80,000 rand. And that lawyer is currently being prosecuted. We had somebody being paid 3-point-something million, and they paid the claimant 850 rand.
Law Society, are they not coming in?
Well, good luck with that, because we, with the Law Practice Council, we have been back and forth to the point where we almost had, a boxing fight, because when we said to them, you are very, very slow in dealing with your corrupt and lawyers that defraud us. Because, by the way, if they're not defrauding the Road Accident Fund, working with some of our employees that we have kicked out, they are defrauding, as I said, the claimants themselves. And the Law Practice Council defended themselves. It was only when we decided that we were going to expose them in many, many of the interviews that they, in a couple of months ago, now released a press release to say people need to come forward to report their lawyers. We're very, very happy with that. But why did it have to take for us banging our heads against their doors for them to do their job? We don't like each other at the moment.
Can you
We're
imagine?
trying to get along, but at some point, as stakeholders, we have an interest in making sure that lawyers behave and they don't defraud their claimants. But they have a responsibility to make sure that the lawyers keep to the oath which they swore.
I saw an interview where the fund CEO, Collins Letswalo, was speaking to the Sowetan, and he mentioned that you would have paid something in the region of 3.6 billion rand to foreign nationals annually for the past 5 years. Are those claims also affected by the backlog?
They are. And when you're talking about foreign nationals, it's quite a dicey issue, because, quite frankly, we do not want to pay them. And
Why not?
You're right. I mean, we've paid in 5 years 8.6 billion. You were just breaking it down to annually, because if I go to Zimbabwe, and I've been to a number of countries, if I go to the United States of America and England, where I studied, you are encouraged, not encouraged, it is compulsory for you to have medical aid cover. Now, I was covered in England by what you call NHS, the National Health the National Health Service.
Yeah.
Because I was a guest of the British government, I was there on a scholarship to study there, and I was there on a long term. Now, that's an exception. But what we are saying is that when you go to the Schengen countries, to any country in the world, by the way, it's your responsibility to have medical cover. And if you get into an accident, they get you into a hospital. They make sure that they help you as best as possible, and they get you to your country because they don't want you to be a burden. Now, those are countries that I've mentioned that can afford that. They are very rich countries, the Schengen countries, the European countries. We are a country at the bottom of the southern tip of the continent. We are not considered a developed country. We don't have a bottomless pit of cash to pay for everybody. Now, how it happened that foreign nationals were paid was because during the apartheid time, South Africa was the skunk of the world, and tourism was suffering. And as a sweetener to attract people to South Africa, they then dreamed up a lot of things that would be attractive for people to come to South Africa. And one of that was, should you be involved in a car accident, however small and however big, we will cover you. And it did work. We're not there no more. Our tourism is not suffering. But we are saying there has to be parity when it comes to us with regards to medical insurance, just as it happens with the rest of the world. And so we do not want to pay people from outside the country no more. You can cry xenophobia or anything. I don't care. We don't care. It's just that it happens that way in each and every country in the world, and South Africa should not be an exception. Now, I'm not talking here about illegal immigrants,
Sure.
which the judges bizarrely recently said we have to pay without asking whether they're here legally or illegally. And we are appealing that silly judgment. And it is that. It is a silly judgment. We want a passport stamped to show that you didn't come through the fence. You came here with your passport and you're here legally. But through the RAF Bill of 2023, we are proposing that we don't pay you altogether if you are an immigrant or if you are from outside of our country.
I get a sense that for foreign nationals, the claims process seems to be a lot easier. I mean, if they're able to get all of this amount of money, would you say it's as cumbersome as for us, South Africans?
It's the same for everybody. But where it gets bizarre is that if we pay an illegal immigrant, obviously they do not have a bank account. It goes to the point of we are being asked to pay them in cash. And I'm saying, hang on, do you think we're stupid? If you are a person who is in a foreign country, it goes to the point of us having to send some of our officials to go and deal with you once you're back in the United States. And we say, hang on, it's too expensive. Why should we do that when no country in the world does that? So let's stop doing it because we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We are not a rich country. Even if we were to be rich, we are allowing people to abuse the system.
In terms of reducing fraudulent claims, please paint a picture for us. I saw a story which I believe it's worth noting. A recent case of a mother, daughter, and son-in-law. They appeared in the magistrate court here in Joburg, collectively submitting 573 fraudulent claims from 40 road accidents. Overall, how's the picture in terms of you stemming the tide against people who are making fraudulent claims against the RAF?
We have, in the past couple of years, I think it's over a period of 2 years, stopped fraudulent claims to the tune of 3.6 billion rand. Yes, billion. Now, in this past financial year, over a period of around 6 to 9 months, we stopped fraudulent claims of around 460 million rand, right? So there are too many people who are trying to get their buck with the road accident fund because it used to be easy to do so.
I was about to say, it looks like everybody was going there to
We are
harvest.
saying it's not easy no more. We've got now our unit within the Forensics Investigations Department. They're doing a stellar job. We've got the SIU working with us in the Road Accident Fund. We've got the Hawks. We've got the NPA. We're working very well together. We are referring a lot of cases, whether it's the lawyers or people who are trying their luck. There are people who, when working off their roof and they fall off, and obviously they go to the doctor and then they find a lawyer and they say, oh, you can make a buck off the road accident fund. We have that to the point where we have said, with the RAF bill of 2023, we need to relook, especially our hit and run claims. Because you must remember, there is no accident report, there is no car involved. You can quite easily fall off your roof or get involved in a fist fight and then say you were injured in an accident. Now, as much as that is unfair to the people who are genuinely hit by cars in a hit and run, you can imagine how difficult for us it is to prove that a person didn't fall off a roof and broke their arm or a leg. Because, as I said, there is no vehicle involved.
Mcintosh Polela with us on Life and Money, just gone 7:30. We'll continue this discussion. You touched a little bit on the RAF amendment bill. In terms of, what it seeks to achieve, and how far along is the process now?
We are at the mercy of lawmakers in Parliament. We've done our process. We've put together the bill. We have put together a list of a shopping list of things that we want to be done. I've touched on the fact that we don't want to pay people from the outside anymore. I've touched on the hit and run, but we've also said people who get either injured or die as a result of walking on the motorway, or what you call the freeway.
Yes.
We don't want to pay you no more, because you shouldn't be there in the first place as a pedestrian.
The law is clear.
It's very, very clear. So we can't be now abetting, low breakers. We can't be assisting them no more. But we've also gone further. You've seen people on that show where we give them 3 million rand, and they have never touched 3 million rand in their lives. And then it's 12 o'clock midnight, and the money comes through, and they go mental about it. They start to have friends and hangers-on until the money is finished. And this is money that is meant to empower you. We're now saying that we want to pay you in installments. We feel sorry for people who use the money genuinely, and there are quite a number, and there are many people who use the money for what it's supposed to do, which is to empower themselves and empower their families. We feel sorry for that. But there are way too many people who you give 600,000 rand and they've never seen it in their lives, and then they just drink it.
Yeah. And what it's becoming now, and I can talk about it colloquially, you find people that even in cities, when they cross the road, some of them, it's almost like,
of course,
that type of thing. There's some confusion, though, regarding your obligation to pay a claim, and I'll paint a picture for you, and this was sent to us by a listener, where, as a claimant, I have my own insurance privately, which covers, me should I be involved in a motor vehicle accident.
Sure.
If I have that and that insurance pays, can I still come to RAF?
Well, I think you're talking here about, say, the medical claims, which we have fought Discovery about, because they have been trying to basically, I don't know if there's a sort of a term called lawful stealing.
Lawful stealing.
Because what they're saying is that you, as a person who is covered by Discovery, which is, by the way, a social benefit, they said that themselves, that they're a social benefit, you go to a hospital, and they, as they are obligated to do so, they cover you. But then they say to you, hey, go and claim from the road accident fund. You then go and claim from the road accident fund, and they say, pay the money back to us.
Ooh.
That's exactly what they do. And
There's
that's
evidence
why,
to that effect.
Yes. And if you don't pay, there's a gentleman who did it and then said, hang on, but I can't be paying you this money because I'm already paying you on a monthly basis for
My
this
premiums,
cover.
Yeah.
And they terminated his cover.
This is murkier than a lot of us.
So to answer you, you need to be careful of the medical aids, especially of Discovery. And I can say, and I can name and shame them, Discovery Medical Aid even took us to court, and we are still in court with them. We've been back and forth. They want to do double dipping in that they want to charge you and then claim from the road accident fund. But because they are not allowed by legislation to come directly to us because you have to show injury for us to cover you. And there is no injury or loss to Discovery. They use you.
We're learning quite a lot this evening, and it's important that we, keep our eyes, and ears peeled, because the Road Accident Fund comes under a lot of stick recently. And I'll be honest with you, I would have been one of those people, when arguing the fuel price, I would have said, take out all of these levies and so forth. But then you appreciate that this model would have been brought into space because of this particular need in society for us to be insured. Mcintosh, some confusion we understand. The reason why people are not, some claim that the reason why they're not, following through in terms of their claims with you is because there's quite a few things they don't understand. I'll make an example as well. You can clarify this for us. The definition of, third party. Here I am, I'm driving on the road, I'm sober, vehicle is in good condition, and I hit an embankment, or so I claim. And
that's not my problem. If
I'm on the road.
No, I understand that. But you must understand that how we work is that we cover you as a driver. We take, if you have passengers, right? Mm-hmm. We take responsibility so that you don't get sued by passengers. It doesn't matter that you as a driver are the person that pays at the pump. Because a lot of people, including people from the outside, they say, but hang on, I pay at the pump. So what? I also pay so that people with disability can get cover, so that people of old age can get cover, so that the students can get NFSAS. But you know what? I'm not qualified to claim from that. Likewise, you as a driver, if you hit a tree or you hit an embankment and you're alone, you can't claim from me.
Even if it's on a public road?
Yes.
Even if I meet all the requirements?
Yes. You cannot claim. I'm not covering you as a driver. I'm covering people who, you as a driver, you get hit by another driver and we find that you are in the wrong. That's fine, I'll pay you for that. But if you hit a tree or an embankment...
Call insurance.
Exactly.
Eye-opener. The other thing that we never really talk openly about when it comes to the Road Accident Fund and the cover is the sobriety part of it. You will not pay even if I'm in an accident with another vehicle and I'm right, but I'm under the influence of alcohol.
Which insurance is going to pay you if you are drunk?
Well, I thought the Road Accident Fund would be
Why
different.
should I be an exception? I cannot do that.
This is a conversation we should have had a long time ago, because a lot of us, we think, and it's a picture that has been painted over the years, and I suppose by people who were cheating the system, to come across as if there's money waiting there for you. You would get lawyers. I mean, I remember I went to court for a criminal matter, and as I was sitting in the corridors, they're waiting for my case to be called. It's a while ago. There's a lawyer who came to ask me, were you not hurt in an accident? I can help you.
Yeah. They do touting all the time. They do that all the time. And the people that from one family that you were talking about, they do exactly that. But those ones harvested people that did not have accidents, or those that have accidents, that accidents, but that were not really serious, because they thought it would be easy to claim from the Road Accident Fund. We get screwed left, right, and center. Because over the years, this has been allowed, and we say we don't care that it's been allowed in the past. If it's been allowed in the past, well, we're making sure that it's not happening no more.
Is there anything we can do to have that bill looked at quicker?
We are at the mercy of lawmakers. We're trying our best to make sure that they do it as quickly as possible. But what we want to say, at the moment, if you are a claimant and you have a lawyer, please call us at that number I've said, and I hope that you can repeat it. It's 087
087
820
820
1111.
1111.
Yeah, 1111.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 087 820 1111. Because we want each of you to be able to check, or you can SMS us, by the way, on 44930.
44930.
Yes, or you just go to our, to our website, raf.co.za.
Maybe you're one of the 321,000 claimants whose claims are yet to be finalized. Please get in touch with the Road Accident Fund, 087-820-1111. That's another way, or you can SMS them, 44930. Always check them out online as well. Drive your claim forward, Road Accident Fund. And of course, they're trying to reduce the backlog of claims submitted before April 2021. Mcintosh, let me thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat to us. Eye-opener. I guarantee you. I went through your press releases. I listened to a lot of the press conferences that you've had. I hope that even with your podcast, you'll touch on some of these things so that people should see what's happening here. What policy can you get? You said it's R2 how much?
R2.18.
What policy would you get for R2.18?
Yes.
But thank you so much. We appreciate
No,
your
thank
time.
you. And by the way, that number we just gave to you, if you don't have airtime, you can buzz it and you can send it. Please call me.
Wow. Thank you so much.